George Floyd was a father, a son, a brother, a gentle giant with a warm smile, known for his kindness and the way he brought people together. He grew up surrounded by family and friends who loved him deeply, and his presence left a lasting impression on everyone he met. Hoping for a better future, Floyd moved to Minneapolis, searching for new opportunities and a fresh start in life. On May 25, 2020, his life was cut short in a moment that would change history and spark a movement felt around the world. That day, Floyd visited Cup Foods, a neighborhood store, simply to buy a pack of cigarettes. A clerk accused him of using a counterfeit $20 bill. Police were called, setting off a chain of events that would soon be seen by millions. What should have been a routine encounter turned deadly in a matter of minutes. Within minutes, Floyd was handcuffed, face down on the pavement, surrounded by officers. He wasn't resisting, just scared and confused, pleading for understanding as fear took over. Bystander Darnella Frazier, just 17 years old, bravely recorded what happened next. Officer Derek Chauvin knelt on Floyd's neck as others watched in disbelief. For over 9 agonizing minutes, Chauvin pressed down, ignoring Floyd's desperate pleas. "I can't breathe." The world listened as his voice grew weaker. The world watched as Floyd called for his mother, his final words echoing across the globe and breaking hearts everywhere. The video was undeniable, a gut-wrenching record of injustice that could not be ignored or explained away. It spread rapidly, igniting outrage and grief, uniting people from all walks of life in a call for change. People could no longer look away or deny the reality of police brutality and systemic racism. Floyd's death became a moment of collective awakening, inspiring protests and conversations in every corner of the globe. Silence was no longer an option. People demanded justice, accountability, and real change. The world was about to change, as millions stood together in solidarity, refusing to let Floyd's death be in vain. His name became a global symbol for justice, hope, and the urgent need for a better future. The video of Floyd's final moments was more than news. It was a call to conscience, a stark reminder of the systemic issues that plague our society. "I can't breathe" became a rallying cry, echoing Eric Garner's last words and exposing a pattern of violence that could no longer be ignored. The footage left no room for doubt, stripping away excuses and forcing the world to confront the harsh reality of racial injustice. It mobilized millions, compelling people to face the uncomfortable truths and realities of racial injustice that have been ignored for too long. For Black communities, it was collective trauma. For others, a shocking education that opened their eyes to the depth of the problem. The shared horror united people worldwide, transcending borders and cultures. The world wasn't just watching, it was feeling and ready to act, driven by a newfound sense of urgency. Floyd's plea became a global anthem for change, resonating in every corner of the world. The movement was just beginning, signaling a new era of activism and awareness. Minneapolis erupted in protest, grief turning to action as thousands poured into the streets. The city's pain was raw and visible, echoing through chants and candlelight vigils that stretched late into the night. Crowds gathered at the site of Floyd's death, demanding justice and accountability. The intersection became a sacred space, filled with flowers, art, and heartfelt messages from people who refused to let his memory fade. The movement spread nationwide: New York, Los Angeles, Houston, millions marching for Black Lives Matter. City after city, people took to the streets, united by a shared call for change and an end to systemic injustice. People of all backgrounds stood together, a powerful display of solidarity and hope. The diversity of the crowds showed that this was a movement for everyone, transcending race, age, and nationality. The call for justice crossed oceans: London, Berlin, Sydney, Paris. Protesters everywhere recognized the global fight against racism. From city squares to small towns, voices joined in a chorus for equality. Floyd's story became a universal symbol for human rights, inspiring murals, marches, and moments of silence around the world. His name echoed as a rallying cry for dignity and respect. The protests were not fleeting, they marked a cultural and political shift. Demonstrations continued for weeks, signaling a new era of activism and public engagement. Conversations about race and justice reached every corner of society, from classrooms to boardrooms. Communities everywhere began to reckon with uncomfortable truths and seek meaningful solutions. Institutions were challenged to confront their roles in inequality. Demands for reform grew louder, pushing leaders to listen and act. The world demanded a new social contract, true equality and justice for all. The message was clear: silence and inaction were no longer acceptable. The movement's momentum was unstoppable, forging a path toward a more just and united future. The world demanded accountability for Floyd's death. Derek Chauvin's trial was watched globally. The evidence was overwhelming. On April 20, 2021, Chauvin was found guilty on all charges. Relief and emotion swept the nation, a rare moment of accountability. The other officers faced convictions as well, but activists reminded us, justice for one man isn't systemic change. The verdict was a step, not the destination. The struggle for real reform continues. True justice means transforming the system, not just punishing individuals. The fight for lasting change presses on. Floyd's death reignited a global conversation about systemic racism. The focus shifted from punishing individuals to transforming institutions. Demands for police reform and reallocating resources grew louder. The impact rippled through corporations, culture, and politics. Statues fell. Industries faced reckoning, and society was forced to self-examine. Floyd's legacy is a symbol of hope and relentless struggle. "I Can't Breathe" remains a haunting reminder and a call to action. The movement he inspired continues, pushing for a world where everyone can breathe freely.